I threw him a surprise party with all his closest friends. I baked the cake. Everyone was laughing and having a good time until I went to grab his phone to take a picture. That's when I saw a message that changed everything. Last night was amazing. Are you still coming over after the party? The sender? His ex? The timestamp? 2 hours before guests arrived. That night, I just smiled. 2 weeks later, his job was gone. His reputation? Ruined. And I was the one who lit the match. I still can't believe I'm writing this. I've started and deleted this story 3 times already, because each version sounds more unhinged than the last. So let's rewind to exactly 12 days ago, aka the day I found out the man I'd been with for nearly 4 years was cheating on me. On his birthday, at the party I threw. It was supposed to be this big, memorable night. Jordan, my boyfriend at the time, had been dropping hints for weeks, not subtle ones either. Every time we passed a sports bar or walked by a Nike store, he'd say things like, "Can't wait to see how you top last year," or "Only the elite girlfriends pull off surprise parties." It wasn't cute, it was pressure. But I wanted to do it anyway, because that's who I was, the thoughtful one. The girl who remembered his Chipotle order from our second date, who edited his resume at 2 a.m. before his big interview, who picked the sesame seeds off his burger bun without being asked because they get stuck in my teeth. I loved him. Or at least, I loved who I thought he was. So I planned it all. A surprise party at his favorite bar. A custom cake shaped like his college mascot. A slideshow of his childhood photos, cringe. But he'd asked for it last year. Even floor seat tickets to the Lakers game for the next day. Because real ones get the pre-birthday and post-birthday treatment. His words, not mine. The party started at 7 p.m. I got there early, balloons in hand, stress sweating through my dress because the custom cake was late and his cousin Jamie forgot the playlist. But it came together. Friends showed up, drinks flowed, and when Jordan walked in and everyone yelled, "Surprise!" he actually looked shocked. Like, jaw drop, eyes wide, full-on emotional. He hugged me in front of everyone, kissed my cheek and whispered, "You always go too hard for me. I don't deserve you." That part was true. He didn't. And maybe in another life, I'd hold on to that moment. But now all I can remember is what happened an hour later when I picked up his phone to take a picture of him with his dad and saw the message from her. "Last night was amazing. Are you still coming over after the party?" Timestamped. 5:22 p.m., 2 hours before the party. 1 hour after he told me he was at the gym. My hands went numb. My heart? Gone. Like it literally sank into my stomach and dissolved. I stood there frozen, phone still in hand, while people around me laughed and danced and toasted to him. I should have caused a scene. I should have thrown the cake in his face. But I didn't. Instead, I smiled, pretended to look for a better photo angle and sent this message to myself and then took that stupid picture and started planning my own surprise for him. And that, my friends, was the moment I officially decided this party would not end the way he thought it would. So there I was, smiling, posing, pretending while my insides were screaming. I don't even remember taking the picture. I think I blacked out for a second, honestly, because 1 minute I was staring at his phone screen, and the next I was back in the crowd, handing it back to him like I hadn't just seen a message that shattered our entire relationship in 12 words. "Last night was amazing. Are you still coming over after the party?" I knew the number. I'd seen it flash across his screen before, always saved as Jay, like that was subtle. Jay was Jasmine, his ex from college. The one who, according to him, completely ruined love for him. The same Jasmine who once DM'd me months into our relationship saying, "Just a heads up, he never really lets go." Yeah, that Jasmine. When I showed him that message back then, he brushed it off with the same smirk he used when he lied about everything. "She's just bitter. I don't even talk to her anymore." And stupidly, I believed him. I wanted to. Because believing him was easier than believing I was getting played. But now? Now I had proof. Concrete. Time-stamped. Sickeningly casual. I kept playing hostess, topping off drinks, pretending to laugh at his cousin's dumb TikTok stories. On the outside, I looked like the dream girlfriend. On the inside, I was unraveling, rewriting our entire relationship in real time. Like, that work trip he took to Denver last month? The one where he lost Wi-Fi for a few days? He posted nothing, said it was a quick in and out. But now I remembered the black hoodie he packed. It's the same one Jasmine's wearing in her latest Instagram post. Then there was that time he forgot our anniversary dinner. He claimed a client meeting ran late. But when I looked at his Uber history that night, yeah, I snooped it, showed a ride to a restaurant across town. Not the one we had reservations for. Jasmine's favorite sushi place. Suddenly, it was all connecting. The late gym sessions, the password change on his phone, the fact that he always turned his screen away when texting. And worst of all, the way he started calling me dude more than babe. Like I'd somehow transitioned from love interest to background character without being told. I needed air. I stepped out to the patio, gripping the balcony rail like it was the only thing holding me to earth. My best friend Talia followed me out, probably sensing I was one drink away from throwing his phone into traffic. "You okay?" she asked, handing me a vodka soda. I couldn't even answer. I just held out the phone with the message still on it. Her eyes narrowed as she read it. She didn't say, "Are you sure it's what it looks like?" She didn't say, "Maybe it's old." She said exactly what I needed to hear. "Say the word, and I'll help you burn his life down emotionally, legally, spiritually." God, I love her. We went back inside like nothing happened. We stayed at the bar for another hour. I played the role, sang happy birthday, gave him the gift I wrapped earlier that day, vintage Jordans I spent 2 paychecks on. He lit up like a kid on Christmas. "You're too good to me," he said, holding the shoes like they were a crown jewel. "Yeah, Jordan, I was, but not anymore." That night, after the party, he passed out drunk on my couch in the shoes he swore he'd never wear outside. While he snored like a chainsaw, I grabbed his phone one more time. I wasn't going to delete anything, not yet, but I wanted to see how far it went. This time, I wasn't just scrolling, I was downloading screenshots, messages, dates, every dirty little secret he thought he could bury behind Face ID and Do Not Disturb. And what I found? It wasn't just one message, there were dozens. Some of them dated before our anniversary, some with pictures, and one from 2 weeks ago. A hotel receipt, under his name and hers. And that was the moment the girl he thought was soft, the one who threw him the perfect party, decided to destroy him with receipts. What I found wasn't just cheating, it was rehearsed betrayal. Jordan and Jasmine had a nickname for me, Hustle, short for Host Hustle, because apparently I was hosting his life and hustling to keep him happy while he messed around behind my back. They joked about how he could milk this for a little longer, get me to co-sign a lease for a better place, and then ghost when the timing felt right. I took a screenshot of that entire thread and saved it in a locked folder on my phone, labeled it Truth. Then I grabbed my laptop, and in the quiet glow of my bedroom, I started planning his next big party, the one he didn't know he RSVP'd to. It wasn't a confrontation. Not yet. I wasn't ready to give him that power. Instead, I drafted an email to Jasmine. Subject line, "From the hostel." I attached the screenshots, all of them, the text threads, the hotel receipts, the nickname thing. The one where he told her he fakes it so well when I cry during movies. No message, no threats, just cold, hard proof. Then I opened another tab. Jordan's job had this mentorship program he loved talking about. He even posted about it on LinkedIn, how he's passionate about integrity and leadership. Cute. So I attached those same screenshots to an anonymous email and sent them to his company's internal HR contact. You know, the one he was always name-dropping at dinner parties like they were best friends. Then, and this part felt delicious, I sent him a Venmo request. 347, 4 years of wasted time, plus cake. I left his apartment at sunrise before he even stirred. He had no idea what was waiting for him on his phone. Or that by the time he woke up, Jasmine would have blocked him, HR would have flagged his file, and I'd be halfway to my sister's house with the dog he never walked. I wasn't just walking away, I was walking through the ashes of everything he set on fire. By the time I pulled into my sister's driveway that morning, I had exactly 12 unread messages from Jordan. All variations of, "Babe, did you take Max? Where are you? Hey, I think someone hacked my Venmo. Why is Jasmine blowing up my phone? Oh, Jordan, I hadn't even gotten to the good part yet. I barely slept that night. My sister let me crash in her guest room, where I curled up with her old college hoodie and a box of leftover Cheez-Its, while her toddler poked me every 15 minutes, asking if my dog could do tricks. I kept refreshing my inbox, half dreading and half craving the fallout. At exactly 10:42 a.m., I got the confirmation. Subject, response to anonymous complaint, HR had received my email. The tone was professionally vague, but between the lines, it was clear. We're taking this seriously. Because guess what? Jordan had been mentoring interns. You know, young women looking to start their careers. Turns out he was flirting with at least one of them over Slack. Jasmine wasn't the only one. I didn't include that in my email, but apparently someone else had. This wasn't just about heartbreak anymore. This was patterned behavior. By noon, Jasmine posted a photo to her Instagram story. It was a, quote, graphic, very Pinterest core. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Underneath, wish I had. And then, the screenshots, the thread with the hostile nickname, the fake sweet texts he sent me at the same time he was messaging her, a picture of the hotel receipt with my birthday listed on it, my birthday. The one night I cried because he said he had to work late, and I believed him. Her caption? For anyone who thought I was the homewrecker, nah, I was just one of many. Here's your boy. That's when it exploded. People loved it. I mean, loved to hate him. He wasn't famous or anything, but he had just enough of a public presence thanks to his podcast Barf and those aspiring entrepreneur reels he posted that the screenshots got traction fast. TikTok picked it up. Some girl did a dramatic reading of the messages complete with voice acting. It hit 40K likes in a day. I watched in real time as the comments piled up. Not hostile men will literally ruin their lives for a girl named Jasmine. Sis dodged a bullet run. The Venmo request became a meme. Someone even made merch. I wish I was kidding. Jordan tried to do damage control. I know because he texted me, "Can we please talk? You don't understand how bad this is." I didn't answer. I was busy reading a DM from his ex before Jasmine, who said, "I've got some stories too if you ever want to compare notes." I think that's when it hit me just how many lies I'd swallowed, how many cracks I'd smoothed over with trust, how long I'd been choosing him while he kept options. But I wasn't his hostile anymore. I was the fire exit he didn't know he left open, and I wasn't walking out quietly. The thing about blowing up a liar's life, you never realize how many people already knew he was full of it until you strike the first match. By the next morning, it wasn't just strangers clowning on Jordan online. It was his inner circle, the people who'd been to our apartment, eaten my lasagna, smiled in our holiday photos, people I thought were his ride or dies. Yeah, not anymore. The first person to reach out was Leah, his coworker slash gym buddy slash self-proclaimed work wife. I always got weird vibes from her, not because I thought she liked him, but because she never really acknowledged me. She DM'd me on Instagram like we were long-lost friends. "Hey, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I should have said something sooner. We all knew about Jasmine. I didn't realize it was that bad. We all knew. Excuse me." That message sent me into a full spiral. Like, how long had people been watching me play the role of the perfect girlfriend while this man made me the butt of an inside joke? But it didn't stop there. Jamie, his cousin, the same one who helped plan the party, called me from a burner number. "I didn't know he was cheating," he said quickly, "but I knew about the hostile thing. I'm so sorry. I thought it was just a joke, like, you know how guys mess around." I was silent. He filled the silence with a nervous laugh and this little gem. I told him it was gonna come back to bite him. Guess I was right. "Congratulations, Jamie. Want a trophy?" Then came the best text of all, his mom. Jordan's mom and I were never super close, but we were friendly. I sent her birthday flowers. She sent me TikToks she thought were funny, they never were. She once told me I was the kind of girl a man settles down with. I thought it was a compliment. Her message came late at night. "I don't know what's happening, but I'm so sorry. If you ever want to talk, I'm here." That one made me cry. Not because I missed Jordan, but because I missed who I thought I was to his family. Turns out, I was just the guest star in his show. The big twist? Apparently this wasn't the first time Jordan pulled something like this. Jasmine wasn't the only one. I wasn't even the last. He had a whole history of starting serious relationships and then juggling side flings the moment things got real. His pattern? Charm them, date them, use them, then sabotage everything before he had to grow up. Only this time, he got caught in 4K, and the entire internet was watching. Back at my sister's place, things felt weirdly peaceful. I was still heartbroken, yeah, but it wasn't the devastation I expected. It was this cold clarity, like when you finally clean a foggy mirror and see the truth staring back at you. No filter, no fantasy. Jordan had never been mine. He was just borrowing my kindness, my stability, my loyalty. And I was done lending it out. You know how people always say they want closure? They picture a dramatic showdown, yelling, tears, some cinematic moment where the cheater falls to his knees and begs, and you get to monologue your way into a triumphant exit. But when I finally saw Jordan again, I didn't say a word. And honestly, that hurt him more than anything I could have screamed. It happened at The Grind, the little coffee shop on 4th, where we used to go every Sunday, after farmers markets. I hadn't been back since everything blew up, mostly because I assumed he'd be lurking around there, trying to accidentally run into me. And wouldn't you know it? That's exactly what happened. I was with Talia, post-yoga, still wearing leggings and a messy bun, ordering an oat milk latte when she suddenly elbowed me hard in the ribs. "Behind you." 2 o'clock. I turned. There he was, Jordan, looking like a man who had aged 10 years in 2 weeks. Hoodie up, bags under his eyes, that same pair of beat-up Vans he swore were lucky. He looked wrecked, and when our eyes met, his face crumbled. Like he genuinely thought I'd run to him, like I'd break down and ask why. But I didn't. I turned back to the cashier, paid for our drinks, and walked straight past him without breaking stride. I could feel him watching me the whole time, like he wanted to reach out but knew he'd lost the right. And he had. He absolutely had. Talia followed my lead. We sat in the corner and sipped our lattes while he lingered awkwardly near the counter, clearly debating whether to approach. Eventually, he left. That's when Talia leaned in and whispered, "Girl, you just emotionally assassinated that man." And honestly, good. Later that night, he texted me. Just one message. "I saw you today. You looked strong. I miss you." I didn't respond. Instead, I pulled up a new note in my phone, titled it "Things I Didn't Say," and wrote, "I looked strong because I am. I miss who I thought you were, not the man who made me feel small just to feed his ego. You miss me? That's your karma, not my concern." Then I blocked his number. For good. Okay, so remember how I thought the worst was behind me? I was wrong. Because just when I thought I'd reached the end of this saga, the heartbreak, the screenshots, the silent walk past with a latte in hand, I got an email that flipped the entire story on its head. And no, it wasn't from Jordan. It was from her. Subject line: "Hi, I think we need to talk." Sender: s.morales92, email.com. Display name: Sienna Morales. I almost didn't open it. I thought maybe it was a scam, or another random girl from TikTok who wanted the full tea, but something about the name. It felt familiar, like I'd seen it before but couldn't quite place it. So I opened it, and then I stopped breathing. "Hi. I know you don't know me, but I think we've both been involved with the same person. And I'm not talking about Jasmine. My name is Sienna. I was dating Jordan for a little over a year. We met at a wedding. He said he was between relationships and wasn't looking for anything serious. Except we did get serious. He met my parents, helped me move apartments. We even talked about getting a dog together. But then I found your picture on his phone. At first, he said you were an ex he co-parents a dog with and that it was complicated but over. I believed him. I didn't want to be the jealous girlfriend. Until I saw the TikTok. I didn't know you two were still together. I didn't know there was someone named Jasmine either. I've spent the last week reading the comments and watching this all unfold in real time. And honestly, I just want to say I'm sorry. I feel stupid. I had no idea I was, the side girl? But if you ever want to talk or compare timelines, I think it might help us both. I read it 3 times. Then I scrolled all the way to the bottom, where she'd attached 2 photos. A selfie of Jordan holding her hand, timestamped from 2 weeks before his birthday. A receipt from a romantic weekend getaway on our anniversary. Y'all, I sat there, my mouth open, literally clutching my throw blanket like I was in the middle of a soap opera. Because here I was thinking Jasmine was the only other girl. Turns out, I was the one getting triangulated between 2 completely different lives. Sienna wasn't local either. She lived out of state, which meant he'd been flying out to see her on work trips, booking hotels, playing the exact same game, charming her parents, pretending to be the good guy, posting vague, inspirational quotes about growth and soul connections. I texted Talia one word, Sienna. She called me immediately. Okay, what in the Bachelor finale is going on now? After pacing my room like a lunatic for 20 minutes, I finally replied to Sienna. You're not the side girl. You were just lied to, like the rest of us. I'd love to compare notes, because here's the thing. I could have just ignored her, blocked the email, focused on healing. But some betrayals, they deserve the full picture. If this were a Netflix show, this is the part where the plot twist drops, and you pause the episode just to whisper, "You have got to be kidding me." Because when Sienna and I compared timelines, we found another girl. We hopped on a Zoom call that night. Yeah, I know stranger danger and all, but after everything, Sienna felt less like a stranger and more like an accidental sister wife in emotional warfare. She looked tired but kind, with that same bruised under-the-skin expression I'd been wearing for weeks. We started slow dates, messages, receipts, and it was mind-bending. She'd been seeing Jordan for over a year. I'd been with him for nearly 4. Jasmine overlapped both of us for at least 9 months. Which means Jordan was running a 3-girl triangle across 2 states with 1 personality. But then, Sienna said something that made my stomach drop. I only met his mom once, but she kept calling me Claire. Pause. Record scratch. WHO is Claire? I'd never heard the name. Not in any of his stories. Not in his phone, at least not in anything I saw. Not even in those smug little group chats I'd screenshot. And yet Sienna swore she'd heard it. Twice. At first I thought it was just a slip. Like, maybe Claire was a cousin or something. But now? I don't know. So we dug. Hard. We went through tagged photos, Facebook posts, Twitter likes, anything that smelled even remotely suspicious. Sienna mentioned a night when Jordan said he was off the grid at a guy's cabin. Around the same time I thought he was with her. I remembered that night. I'd been homesick with a fever, and he said he was taking a much-needed guy's night to reset. And then we found it. Buried in a tagged photo from some random friend of a friend's engagement party was Jordan, arm around a girl. Not Jasmine, not me, not Sienna. A blonde in a green dress, holding a wine glass and beaming at the camera. The caption? "So happy for my girl Claire. Her new man you two are ADORBS. The date? Smack dab in the middle of last October. I remember that weekend. Jordan had the flu. I made him homemade soup, and he FaceTimed me from under a blanket looking miserable. Turns out, he was at Claire's engagement party. As her boyfriend. I sat back, completely numb. Sienna blinked at the screen and whispered. There was a fourth. We were no longer the victims of a love triangle. This was a hexagon of delusion. By midnight, we'd mapped out a messy little chart of Jordan's timelines. We color-coded the girls. Green for me, pink for Sienna, yellow for Jasmine, blue for Claire. There were overlaps everywhere. He had a full-blown calendar of manipulation. Like cheating was his part-time job. He didn't just cheat, he scheduled it. He built a whole ecosystem of lies and lived inside it. We ended the call exhausted, but in this weird, unspoken agreement, we weren't just gonna move on. We were gonna expose him, but not through TikTok, not through Venmo. This time, it was going to be in person. Because guess who RSVP'd yes to a mutual friend's upcoming birthday dinner? Claire. And guess who's bringing her new boyfriend Jordan as her +1? The same Jordan, who still doesn't know Sienna and I found each other. And now, we had the perfect opportunity to introduce ourselves to each other, right in front of him. When I say I barely slept the night before that dinner, I mean it. I kept flipping between excitement and pure chaos-fueled anxiety. One minute, I was planning my outfit down to the earrings. The next, I was pacing my sister's kitchen, practicing what I'd say when I locked eyes with him across the table. Spoiler, I didn't need a speech, because sometimes, silence and smirking eye contact does more damage than words ever could. Here's how it went down. Our mutual friend Becca was throwing her annual Spring Vibes dinner party, the kind where everyone wears pastels and pretends to love Prosecco. I wasn't even going to go this year, until I saw Claire post her RSVP on Becca's story, tagging you-know-who with a nauseating caption. Can't wait to show off my man, girl. Girl, I messaged Becca the next day. She had no idea about Jordan's side quests. Like, none. When I hinted at drama, she responded, "Wait, is this about Claire? They're so cute." So I made her a deal. I wouldn't blow up her party. I'd be chill, I'd be civil, but I needed a +1. She agreed. Enter Sienna. Yup. I brought his other girlfriend as my +1. We coordinated outfits, obviously. Soft glam. Nothing extra. But our energy? Immaculate. Sienna went for the, I'm thriving and too pretty for this mess vibe. I went for ethereal, dangerous calm. We looked divine. Like two avenging angels with receipts in our clutches. We walked into that dinner like a scene out of a movie. Jordan was already there, sitting next to Claire, laughing, holding her hand, until he looked up and saw us. His face drained of color so fast, I thought he might pass out into the charcuterie board. His jaw literally hung open. You know that TikTok sound that goes, oh no. Oh no, 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 no. That was his soul. Claire turned to see what he was looking at, confused. Do you know them? Sienna and I didn't say a word. We just smiled. Big, wide, sharp. Jordan stammered something like, I didn't know you guys knew Becca. Oh, honey. We didn't. Not really. But fate did. We took our seats directly across from him. He could barely chew. His hands were shaking so badly, he almost dropped his wine glass. Claire, still clueless, tried to make polite convo. So how do you all know each other? I looked her dead in the eye and said, oh, Jordan and I go way back. Right, babe? Sienna chimed in smoothly. Same. It's funny how small the world is. Jordan was dying. Claire tilted her head, catching the weird tension. Wait, I thought you guys? And that's when Sienna pulled out her phone. She didn't show her the full screenshots, just one photo. A picture of her and Jordan, cuddled up on a couch, dated 6 weeks ago, time-stamped, smiling. Claire went silent. Then she turned to him. What is this? Jordan tried to spin it. That was from last year. It's old. So I leaned forward, placed my napkin gently on the table, and said, funny, because I took this one. I flipped my phone around. A picture of Jordan, asleep in my bed, dated 2 months ago. Same hoodie he wore that night. Claire's fork hit the plate. The whole table went quiet. Becca's face was frozen mid-bite. Someone at the end cleared their throat and whispered, oh my God. And Jordan? He didn't even try to lie. He just stood up and walked out. Didn't say a word. didn't look back. Claire followed him after throwing a glass of water at his feet. Not on him, at his feet. Like even her subconscious couldn't waste water on him. Sienna and I, we clinked our Prosecco glasses and kept eating our pasta, because finally, the table had turned. By the next morning, people were talking. TikTok? Blowing up. Someone at the dinner had posted a get ready with me video that accidentally caught the confrontation in the background. You couldn't hear much, just the icy tone of my voice and the look on Jordan's face as he left the table like a ghost in skinny jeans. The video hit 300K views in 12 hours. Caption? Her boyfriend walked in with one girl and got exposed by two exes at the same dinner. Messy cheater karma. The comments were unhinged. That's not a dinner. That's the Last Supper. And he was Judas. Women supporting women gives me life. Can we please find out who they are? They deserve justice and a brand deal. And that's when I had a choice. I could stay silent, let the rumor spiral, let strangers define my story through grainy side angles and chaotic commentary. Or I could take the mic, so I did. I posted a video. Just me. No tears. No drama. No names. Hey. So yes, that was me. I'm the girl from the dinner party TikTok. And yes, I showed up with the other woman because we were both lied to, cheated on, and treated like props in a narcissist's one-man play. I kept it honest, measured, sharp. What he didn't count on was that we'd compare notes, that we'd choose each other over him, that we'd choose truth over illusion. I ended with this. To anyone out there going through something similar who's been gaslit, used, made to feel like a backup plan, you are not crazy. You are not too much. You are just too real for someone who prefers fantasy. And then I signed off with a wink and a caption that read, sometimes closure isn't a door. It's a glass ceiling you finally walk away from. By the end of the day, it had 500,000 views. People flooded the comments. Women, girls, even a few men saying, I've been there. People who'd been burned by the same kind of smooth talking, boundary pushing, empathy lacking heartbreakers who charm everyone and care about no one. I wasn't a side character in Jordan's story anymore. I was the main one and the narrator. And he was just a plot twist with a weak ending. Ixtad.